Good morning, all of you. The webinar of Revolution in Control System in the sector of Industrial Automation, organized by Birla Vishwakarma Mahavidyalaya Electronics and Communication Department, managed by Charutar Vidya Mandal. BVM Engineering College is an autonomous engineering college. This webinar is organized by Electronics and Communication Engineering Department. So today we are having our guest Engineer Parth Bhimani. I welcome Palak Madam, Professor Palak Madam, to introduce our speaker, our resource person. Palak Madam, please.
Yeah, thank you, Ghanshyam sir. It is my immense pleasure to introduce such an experienced person in the field of control system and the instrumentation. He completed BE Electronics from BVM Engineering College in 2007. Presently, he is working as Senior Manager in Control and Instrumentation Department, SR. He has over 14 years of work experience across ABB, L&T Hydrocarbon and EPGL, that is SR Power Gujarat Limited. In EPGL, he has worked as Deputy Manager from 2011 to 2013. Then promoted as Manager in 2013 to 2015. And then promoted as Senior Manager in 2015. His association with SR in Unit 1 and Unit 2, DCS and PLC commissioning and maintenance, Unit 2, turbine protection and governing system commissioning, boiler maintenance. In boiler maintenance, also fan, mill and ignition system, station LAN system implementation and optimization system implementation. His major contribution include plant maintenance, spare management, modification for reliability and improvement, and ISO system implementation. Other than SR, he has been in L&T and ABB and involved in engineering, procurement and erection commissioning of various projects related to power plant, oil and gas. His expertises in control and instrument are preventive maintenance, prototype design, commissioning and spare management. So from BVM, I welcome you, sir, and the session is open for you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Palak ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, Parth. Parth sir, it's over to you. You can start your session. Welcome you once again, sir. Please.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, thank you to Ghanshyam and Palak ma'am for their kind words and giving this opportunity so I can give my presentation to BVMites. As a BVMite, it's always a proud moment for everyone that I am giving presentation to my juniors. So indeed, I have given many presentations, but this is really special that because I'm giving it to BMites. So we will start our session, and I am just presenting my screen. I will disable my video so I will get the good bandwidth. Okay.
Excuse me, Parth. Sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. There is announcement for participant. Meanwhile, presentation, if you are having certain queries or question, you can drop your question in a chat box. Otherwise, we are going to give you a chance at the end of session. Question answering session will be there. And in between, if you find any question, any queries, you can definitely drop your question in the chat box. I'll read out those questions and I'll share those questions to presenter. Okay. Parth,
Okay. And Ghanshyam, if you feel that this question is right, to discuss at this moment, then you can interrupt me and we can discuss that question right now only. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So now my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, screen is visible.
So our today's topic is revolution in control system in sector of industrial automation. So
You
I
can
am
maximize the screen in presentation mode. Start your presentation.
yeah, now it is in maximize mode.
We are waiting. But if you have shared the only presentation, then it will tough to see the whole presentation. So I suggest you to share your screen. Don't share only window, share whole screen.
Wait a
Just
minute.
stop presentation. Once again, just share whole screen.
Desktop.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Now it now okay.
Now it's okay.
Okay.
Now it is fine.
So our topic is revolution in control system in sector of industrial automation. So, as I understand, most of students are from third year, and now it is time to decide in which sector they want to continue or they want to do their.
Sorry, Parth. Just minimize
Hello.
that window, bottom window, that MS
Okay. Okay.
Teams window.
Yeah. So now it's time to decide that in which area they want to continue their job, they want to continue their career. Okay. So I am starting my slide with scope for electrical and EC engineer. What EL and EC engineer would like to do and what can do. The first and very popular option is software engineering. Second is VLSI, or you can do embedded technology, or you can do communication and networking, uh, power electronics, industrial automation, or one can do PSU, MBA, MTech, and teaching. Why I am sharing this slide? Because see, presentation is one thing, but the vision for the student is very important, and what person actually liking is important for them, and pursue their goal and pursue their work in that area is most IMP for the older students. So now if we select the industrial automation branch as a career, see the one option is we are selecting, and the other option is if we will not get any other job, then definitely we have to select any one of this. Okay. So now if anyone select the industrial automation as a career, then which are their scope? Now automation is everywhere now, in refinery, in power plant, in water treatment, in paper industry, in cement industry, in metal industry, nowadays in metro also. Automation is everywhere. Now, what is our role if we select the industrial automation in these industries? Then we can do work as a control system vendor. So we have a companies like Immersion, Honeywell, ABB, Yokogawa, Schneider, and Siemens. So if you select uh, if you select any of the companies, then you can work as a control system vendor, and you have a hands-on experience on the control system. Now if you go as a turnkey project, then you can work in the engineering, procurement, and commissioning company, that is L&T, BHEL, Tata project. And now the third is if you work as a client, then you work is NPCL, that is Nuclear Power Corporation of India, Tata, Aditya Birla, SR Group, ArcelorMittal. That recently ArcelorMittal has purchased the SR, ONGC. So these are the options that one can work if they select the industrial automation as a career. Now going further, before going into control system, it is very important to know what we are. If you don't know what is going to be control, you will not be a good control system engineer or good control system designer. Okay, suppose you are doing the engineering in the office, it is very important to know your final command, where it is going, and your input for your control system, where it is coming. So as you all are the college student, I'm just brief regarding the typical instrument which is used in the industry, and then we will move forward in the control system. The first very uh, uh, instrument used is for the measurement is pressure measurement or temperature measurement. We have a pressure measurement, we have a gauge, we have a transmitter. For flow measurement, we have a different type of mass flow meter, ultrasonic flow meter, or we have a DP transmitter. For level measurement, we have a magnetic gauge, we have a DP transmitter, we have a radar, we have a for temperature measurement, we have, again have a RTD and thermocouple. For vibration measurement, we have a proximeter, velometer. I'm sure you are learning all these things in industrial automation subject in third year. We have a uh, uh, these are the measurement part. Now for control point of view, we have a on-off valve. For that, we have a pneumatic cylinder. We have a MOV. For regulating, we have a control valve. So I have captured some of the pictures, so you can actually see how these instruments will look like. So this is one of the pressure gauge. Okay, you can see here impulse tube from the pipeline will come, and what is the pressure in the line, accordingly this will show the result. So this pressure gauge is normally used in the local, I mean this signal will not come in DCS. Okay, so this is one of the temperature gauge. This is again used to see the reading in local. This is one of the transmitter. So here the signal will come and the signal will show in local also, and 4 to 20 milliampere will generate it, and it is hooked up in DCS, and in control room this signal will be able to see. This is RTD and thermocouples. So here the signal will come into DCS, and the temperature of that line or particular instrument can be able to see, and DCS engineer can operation engineer can the control. This is different type of level measurement. As you can see here in tank, one can measure the level through ultrasonic or radar type of or DP type of instrument. This is control valve. If you want to control any process parameter, then 4 to 20 milliampere from the control room will be generated, and finally we can control and open or close the valve, and we can control through positioner. So these are the solenoid valves. So in on-off application, this solenoid valve will be used, and one can control the pneumatic cylinders through this solenoid valve. And in on-off application, this solenoid valve will be used. This is actuator. Solenoid command will come here, and finally on or off that line parameters. And this is pneumatic cylinder. This is limit switch. And this is motorized operated valve. So so this is for background. Finally, we are going to control. These are the instruments. You can go in detail for each instrument, and there is always a principle how these instruments are working. It is very difficult to cover all this principle in this presentation. So I have just given the introduction of this instrument. Now, what is industrial automation? Industrial automation is the use of control system, computers, robot, and information technology for handling different process and machine to replace and minimize human. See, human cannot control all the valves, all the parameters, and they cannot see one parameter, multiple parameter at one time. So here you can see why it is required. So reduce error in operation. See, there are 5%. If you tell each person that you need to do this task, they will do the task differently. But in process, it is not like that. You have to do the task accurately and as per the requirement. So this will reduce the error in operation. Whatever logic we have prepared, accordingly logic only, the control system will operate, and that it will reduce error in operation. Increase accuracy, so that again there is no chance of error. Safe operation. If anything wrong is happening in machine, then it will immediately trip the equipment. So it is a safe operation. So human and machine life can be saved. Perform many tasks at a time. Now, if someone tell you that observe that 200 parameter, and if anything is happening wrong, you need to take action. But person cannot perform this task by eyes. So control system is required, and if anything wrong will happen, it will immediately trip, or accordingly action will be taken through control system automatically. Quick decision. I already explained the why this industrial automation is required. These are the benefits of the industrial automation. Now, if you see what are the different component of control system, okay, so in any control system there are hardware and there are software. If you go into hardware part, you can see controllers, we have a communication cards, we have a IO cards, and we have a termination unit. In software part, we have a HMI, that is human machine interface. So one can view the parameters in human machine interface. And the other is engineering station. One, if anyone has to change the program, anyone has to change the logic, or anyone have to use the logic, then engineering station is the station will be the use. So I think you have completed the 8051 or 8085. So if you compare the component of control system with 8085 or 8051, see 8085 is a controller, but in 8085, 8051, advanced features like communication cards, IO cards, HMI will not be available, or it will be available if you connect through outside. Now I will discuss the what is the revolution in the control system. Now initially, see 8085, 8051, these are the very basic controller. After that, many progress will come and revolution in the control system industry is happen. So we have a basic three parameters. One is control, second is HMI, and third is engineering tool. So what is the revolution in control? What is revolution in the HMI? And what is the revolution in engineering tool? That I will explain, and then we will discuss the one of the advanced DCS and their features. So previously we have a relay based control. I mean around in 80s and 90s we have a relay based control. So everyone is aware that if relay is actuated, then contact will change, and that change contact will change the control the final elements. So previously we have a push buttons, and through we have a relay based control. For that relay based control, we have a HMI like lamp indication, and we have a analog bar. Means this is the pressure and this is the temperature that one can able to see. So that was happening earlier. After that relay based control, the control is changed as a PLC based control. In PLC based control, the controller is used to control only process. Suppose like if I have a tank and I have to control the level. If I have a one PLC, that PLC try to control the level of that tank. But suppose in that PLC, in that tank, temperature of the fluid is increased, I will not able to control through only one PLC. I have to install other PLC to control the temperature of the fluid. So now I have a two PLC. One PLC will control the level, and the second PLC will control the temperature. So this is disadvantage of PLC based control. Even though it is fast control, but PLC based control only one parameter, uh, and if the process is complex, you cannot control the PLC based control. Now in PLC based control, we have a simple SCADA. I mean, we have a one screen available, and the operator can able to see the what is the status of that SCADA. I will definitely going to show the each of the components. How is the relay based control? How is the PLC based control? How is the ladder logic? So you just keep this word in mind, and I will show that after finishing this slide. The second is ladder logic. I mean, in PLC based control, if we want to create the logic, then we use that ladder logic. So ladder logic is difficult to generate. Later on, DCS is come in 1959. Around 1959, DCS is invented. So DCS has a multiple controller, and all the controllers are connected through a network. We have a proper HMI, human machine interface. Through that, one can view the parameters and one can control the parameters. And initially we have a engineering tools in which you have that kit in lab through which you write down that instruction and load the program in controller, and you can see the output in LED. That I remember we used to do in 8051 and 8085 lab. Okay, so similar kind of engineering tool was used earlier. However, that EEPROM is powerful, and we have a special EEPROM writer tool available in the DCS. Now the advanced controller, we have a 32-bit controller with 160 megahertz speed, increase memory and increase IO capacity. We have a HMI also available, and in HMI we have advanced feature like reporting, trend, uh, MIS, that is station length server. Then we have a functional blow diagram type logic. So that there is a software in each DCS that one can create the logic just like Paint, and he has to download that logic in controller. But definitely you have required the function code knowledge for creating that logic. So we have discussed many words. I will just going to show that in pictures. So here you can see this is one of the ladder logic. So this is the ladder logic of one of the PLC. Here you can see this is the NO contact, this is NO contact, this is NO contact, this is NC contact, and this is one of the output. This is again NC contact, NC contact, NC contact, NC contact, NC contact. So this all are the contact is coming from the field. Some of the contact are coming from the field, and some of the contact is multiplied in PLC only. Like one contact we used to need to use 10 places, then we are multiplying that contact. So you can see here I is the input. So this is directly coming from the field, and this is DB. So DB is the database. So this is coming from the database. And here you can see this is timer, and this is again log. So this is typical ladder logic. I'm just showing that how the ladder logic look like. This is again one example of ladder logic. You can see this is ladder logic. So this side is input and this side is output. But this ladder logic only work in the small PLC. The plant like refinery, plant like power plant, these are the very complex process, and it cannot be controlled through this ladder logic. One thing again we have discussed is HMI. I am going to show you that later. This is not the right time. Okay. Now, before going to teach uh, any of the advanced control system, I am representing here what is the comparison between 8085 and DCS controller. So it will visualize you how big the control system is. CPU clock of 8085 is 3, 4 or 5 megahertz, while in advanced DCS the CPU clock is 160 megahertz. So you can see here the difference. What is the speed of DCS controller? In 8085 we have a controller bit 8-bit controller, while in DCS it is a 32-bit controller, and nowadays 64-bit controllers are also available. In 8085 we have a RAM 256 byte and ROM 64 kilobytes, while in DCS we have a 10 megabytes and 2 megabytes RAM and ROM. We have a IO capacity of 22 IO in 8085, while in DCS we have a 1024 IO capacity under the one controller. So you can see how big DCS controller is, and we don't have only one controller. Suppose in my plant, if you see, we have 2 units. In one unit we have around 30 controllers. So you can check how many IOs. 30 into 1024. So 30,000 IO we control through DCS. So can you imagine how big the control system is? I will show the pictures of how the control system will look like, but this is only for the comparison. It is injustice to compare 8085 and the DCS controller, but I have just make this PPT to understand you that DCS has a very powerful controller and it has a very powerful capacity of IO handling. Different DCS has different IO capacity and different speed. I just represent one of the DCS as a reference. Now we will go into detail. What is control system? So I already explained a distributed control system referred to a control system usually of a manufacturing system, process or any kind of dynamic system in which the controller element are not central in location like the brain, but are distributed through the system with each component subsystem controlled by one or more controllers. So I have a multiple controller and all controllers are independent, but even though they are independent, they all know what other controller is doing. So I already given the example that in tank fluid temperature and fluid level we require two PLC. But if I try to control through DCS, then if I write a program in such a way, then I can control the level and temperature through only one controller just by writing my program. So this is the power of distributed control system. And the last line, the entire system of controller is connected by network for communication and monitoring. Now, if we do the control, but if we don't watch the control, we don't give instruction to controller, it is useless. Also, we have to take the data, we have to do the analysis, we have to do the performance calculation. So all is possible in advanced control system. Now I am giving the various DCS names. If you work in Honeywell, you have to work on the Experion control system. If you work in Immersion, then you have to work in OVSN control system. If you work in ABB, then you have to work with Symphony Harmony control system. Yokogawa Centum, Siemens PCS7. All the control system have a different architecture. That is their prototypes. So we will not go into that detail that why control system is designed in this fashion. Every control system design is take so much time, and this type of R&D is happen in US or Europe. We do not develop the control system here. We only use and we only do the application we can develop, but the processor and everything is imported. Now we will learn about one of the DCS, and that is ABB DCS architecture. All DCS are same, but if you understand one DCS, it is easy to understand other DCS. Now I will show the architecture of my plant. Architecture means how the control system is there. So first of all, I will show the control room. So this is our control room. Here you can see all the screens are human machine interface. Human machine interface. These are the large. This is also, you can say, the human machine interface. So these are the other some pictures. This is human machine interface. I will explain how the human machine interface will work. But this is just for your information. So this is the control system. You can see the how many panels are there. Around 50 panels in one unit we have. So what is inside the panel that I will show you. This you can see is a control panel, or this is the control system. I will show this is later. This is again. Before going into architecture, I would like to just show some pictures. That's why these are the panels in which control system is installed. So here you can see the architecture. This is 2 into 600 megawatt plant architecture. Okay. So this is control network. You can see this is 10 Mbps is written. This is control network. So I have seen you that panels. Okay, so that all panels are connected through that control networks. So control networks is used to transfer the data from one panel to another panel. That means through one controller to another controller. Now you can see here PCU 14, 17, PCU 21, PCU 33, PCU 29, PCU 20, 56, 54. So that PCU is nothing but bunch of panel. So if I have a PCU 14, then I have in PCU 14 I have a 3 panel, or I have a 4 panel, or I have a 2 panel. That depend upon the input output capacity. Okay. So you can here decide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 into 3. Roughly you connect 13 into 3. So that is 39. Somewhere it is 4 panels. So this how this control system architecture is designed. Each panel has a function to control the specific process. Here you can see FSSS. So that controls the MFT, coal, mill, chiller, scanner, cooling air, house load, run back. We'll not go into process because process is again is a wide topic. But I am just trying to explain you that it is distributed in such a way that particular process is controlled through one panel. But information of this panel is going into this panel also, this panel also, this panel also. Okay. And again, this network need to connect with engineering station for programming and for HMI. So we have a, you can see here server 2 and server 1 downside and engineering station. So all is connected with network, and one can able to control the data and one can able to see the data. We'll not discuss much theoretically. I will show some picture so your doubt will be clear very soon. This is again what is CNET and ONET, and okay, let me jump directly into picture for better understanding. So I have seen that photo. Okay, so this is panel. Now if you open this panel, we have a module like this. So this is module cabinet. So what I have shown you as a PCU, that PCU 1, PCU 14. So this is one PCU. In one PCU we have a 3 to 4 panel. So this is one of the panel, and this is the main module cabinet. I'm zooming this panel. You can see here we have a power supply here. So this power supply is coming from UPS and converting 230 volt into 24 and 5 volt that normally card and the termination unit use. Here you can see these are the racks. This you can see as a rack, and in one rack we have a multiple controller. In one panel we have a multiple controller. So you can see this is a controller BRC300. We have again this controller. So you can see in one panel we have a total two controllers. So this is pair of controller that used for redundancy. If one controller fail, then second controller take over. The same way we have a pair of two controllers. So this is one controller and this is one controller. This controller has a IO cards. So in 8085 and 8051 we have a that point. I mean that pin. But in this controller we have a IO card is like this. This is IO card, this is IO card, this is IO card. So all this is IO card. So here you can see in this controller we have how much IO card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is pair. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So we have a 35 IO card in one controller, and in each IO card we have a 16 channel. Channel means that we used to that pin. So 35 into, so I can handle the 560 IO through one controller. Same way here, these are the IO card, and I can control that number of IO. So now I think you are able to visualize how big the control system and how easy to install. Suppose I have to expand my control system, I have to add the 16 IOs. I will open this blank, I will install one of the cards, and the control system is expanded, and I have a 16 more IO to use. Okay, so these are the flexibility one can use in the control system. And now we have again network cards. So this cards is used, what I have seen in the architecture, to connect one panel to another panel. Through this card, this panel is connected to another panel. So this is again the for redundancy purpose. If one card fail, second card will take over. So whatever we discuss in architecture, I am just trying to show you. So this is the CNET. Okay, so this is the coaxial cable, and these are the special module. So cable behind, so okay, this is the behind scene of this. This is module panel, and this is behind scene of that module panel. So these are the prefabricated cable that designed by the. This is nothing, but this is the prefabricated cable that connect to the termination unit, and termination unit is connected through the field through the cable. So here you can see these are the different IO cards, and in different IO card prefab cable will go into here. Prefab cable is coming here. This is second panel of that module unit. So I already explained that there is 3 to 4 panels in one node, I mean one PCU. So this is second panel. So prefab cable from controls will come here, and you can see these are the cables. So these are the cables will directly go into field and actuate the final control element. Okay, again, and how the panels are connected, that I am explaining. That panel are connected. So this cable is coming from the behind of this communication cards. Okay, so cable behind from this communication card will come here, and through this coaxial cable all the panels are connected, and we make so is control net. So this control, through this control network, all the data will transfer from one panel to another panel, and in HMI also. In HMI is nothing but human machine interface. We have a special card type of card available in computer, and I have not taken that photo unfortunately, but that card is installed in the computer, and through that card we can get the data of control system. So I think I have explained that hardware thing, and we'll go into detail in software part. Okay. So now this is what is CNET. I already shown that photo, that how that coaxial cable is connected, and each panel is connected with each other. So CNET is I am going fast for theory. I would like to show you more photos. So CNET is a unidirectional high-speed serial data network that operates at a 10 megahertz or 2 megahertz communication rate. So it supports central network with up to 250 system connections. So around 250 panels can be connected in each network, and each network again can be connected with 250. So 62,000 node connection is possible. So now you can, this is only theory, so you can assume how big the control system is. What is the function of CNET? It provides network for communication between different panel of DCS and computers. Okay. So here you can see this is CNET, and through CNET data is given to that ONET. So this is through Ethernet switch, this data is coming to this computer. So what I have seen that control room, so that is control room is nothing but that is run on ONET, operational network. I already show this picture for power supply, rack, communication module, termination unit, controller, and IO module. So this is again the panel. You can see how the control system is look like. Now the question come, how, we have a different type of control. I mean, one is, some is analog control, something is digital control. We have a transmitter, we have a RTD. So we have a different type of modules are designed. You can see here analog input module, analog output module, digital input module, and digital output module. So what will different type of module will do? This module will generate the data as per the requirement. So analog output module will generate the 4 to 20 milliampere only. Analog input module take the 4 to 20 milliampere from the field. Digital input module will take the contact of relay, and digital output module generate signal and actuate the relay. So these are the different type of module used in Harmony hardware or any of the control system. And this I already explained, NIS and NPM. These are the communication card. This is computer to interface, means CNET to HMI interface card, and this is BRC 300. What this is the controller. I will show some of the module to you. Basically, I am zooming the module. You can see this is the bridge controller. I will zoom one of the controller and take the pictures. Okay. This is communication cards. This is again bridge controller. So these are the IO cards. Here you can see DS, it is written DSI 13. So this is digital input card. So if signal is come, here the LED will glow and accordingly data is shown into HMI. This is digital output card. Here you can see if LED is glow, then output is generating and it is actuating the relay, and then it will control the final control element. So this is FEC card. Basically, this is nothing but AI card, and 4 to 20 milliampere from the field will come here, and data will be shown in the control system. This is ASO card. This is nothing but the analog output card. 4 to 20 milliampere will be generated from here, and it controls the control valve, and accordingly process will be controlled. So this is the termination unit. I have zoomed one of the pictures. So this is termination unit of digital output. We have a different type of termination unit, but this is one example of digital output. This cable is coming from the card. So suppose channel 1 is generated, then these are the relay. You can see this is the inbuilt small relay. So this relay will actuate, and accordingly contact will generate from here and go into field. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. 16 relay are there. So for each channel, we have one relay. And we have 32 terminations. So for each channel, we have two terminations, positive and negative. So this is how the termination unit is look like. For analog input, analog output, digital input, we have a different type of terminal unit, but we will not go into that much detail. This is the converter. We will not go into this detail. This is again one of the relay panel. So cable from card will come here and actuate the relay, and command is extended into the field. Okay. So now I think I have explained enough regarding the hardware. So this is how the hardware will work. I will again explain one example, but before going that, this I will going to show that HMI. So this is how HMI is look. Here you can see this is red, this is green, this is red, this is again red. So red means this equipment is green means this equipment is top. Yellow means this equipment is in fault or given for maintenance. Again, you can also see these are the parameter 464, 5.8, 428. In header also there is a parameter. So whatever 4 to 20 milliampere is coming in controller, that we are able to see here. So this is analog signal, this indication are digital signal, and command generated from the here is again digital output signal. So now we need to do interlinking of all this HMI engineering station and controller. I will show engineering tool. So this is the engineering tool. So this is a software to create the logic. So these are the advanced type of logic, how we can generate the logic in control system. So we create the logic, we compile the logic, and then we download into the controller. See, this is summation block. So no need to write any instruction. Directly I use this block and I connect the two input and the output will be generated. Okay. Now let me explain the features and the HMI function. So what is the use of HMI to interface for the controller? Linking with the controller, dynamics. So red, green, yellow, these are the dynamics. Create the report to see the trend, to see the alarms, to see the history, and to the third party interface. Third party interface means connect with the other control system. Same way, engineering station is used to view and edit the controller data. We cannot directly read the controller data, so we require some compiler type. So this is basically nothing but interpreter between controller and the human. So create controller data, uploading and downloading the data, create address file for HMI database, and configuration of node, controller, cards, and channels, and tuning. Now let me show some more pictures. So this is nothing but HMI page. I already shown this picture. This is HMI screen. This is the alarms. If any abnormality will happen, operation person can able to see this as an alarm. Here it is written that heavy oil pressure low. So here operation person can able to know that pressure will go low. So this is digital input signal. This is database of control system. I mean database of HMI. Here we write all the addresses. You can see here. See, this is line 2 panel 7. So whatever is PCU 7, so this is P7 means PCU 7. Module 3. So we have a two controller. I have shown that panel. So number 1 is 3. Don't ask why 1 and 2 is not there. We start from the 3. So this is 3. Redundant is 4. Then the second controller is 5. And again this is block address. So this how this tag is created and connected with the controller. So you can see here this same is filled here. So this is ICI number, ICI index. This is just index. So this is ring. So suppose we have a 2 unit. So ring 1 is used for the unit 1 and ring 2 is used for the unit 2. And this is PCU. So that is nothing but the panel. And module, that nothing but the controller. And the block is the block inside that controller. So data from this block of this controller of this panel of this ring will come in this HMI. So this is how everything is linked. If you miss or if you do anything wrong during the engineering, like I will write the 3520, then wrong data will come and wrong operation will be happen. So I have to be very careful while creating the database. So this is one of the report. This is generated in the HMI. This is trend. I mean, multiple parameter can be viewed in HMI and analysis can be done through trend, which happened first, that can be analyzed through this trend. I have shown this picture to you. This is engineering unit. Now whatever we have defined in HMI, same is defined here also. You can see here P3. So P3 means panel 3, panel 7, panel 14. So all panels are defined here. You can see module 3 and module 4. So these are both are controller. Module 5 and module 6. These are the second controller. Now if I click on module 3, this logic will come. So now here you can see all the cards in the panel is defined here. You can see FAC card. So this AI card is here. DSI. So these are the DI card is here. Here the location is also written. This is panel 62, rack 3, location 3, location 4, location 6, location 7. So this is how all the engineering is done. So first CLDs, this is control logic document. So first CLDs are for logic, and after that for the cards, and after that we have a logic. So if you open any of the CLD, this is the logic you can able to see. You can change the logic, like you can see this. These are the end block, or block, high low block, and the signals are coming, and this is output is generated accordingly. In this also, all the right side is output, all the left side is input. So you can see this logic again. To understanding of the logic function code, this is all other function code, high low, DOL, RNG, and the understanding of this is very much important. So this is card, one of the card. Okay, you can see here DSI 13 335. So you can now we have a 16 channel. So first slot is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 channel, and the second again 8 channel, and the cable is connected here. So if signal go high, if it is digital, then the signal is come here, and from here it is goes to controller. If it is digital output, controller will give the command and output is generated from here. Same way in case of analog input and analog output. Now this is HMI. Normally, which are the type of control? Typical control is analog signal monitoring. One required to see the analog signal. Second is digital signal monitoring. Third is on-off control, and the fourth is PID control, and the fifth is control through biasing. So these are the different type of control that normally people use. So for each control, we have a dedicated faceplate. So if I click on any of the object, this faceplate will appear. Faceplate will appear accordingly type of the object. Now, for example, this is 27.2 is coming. Okay, if I click on this, the faceplate will open like this, because it is analog input. So one can able to see 27.2 is a boiler cold RH steam temperature. I am just giving the example because I have taken the screenshot of other parameter. So this is boiler cold rate steam temperature. Currently is 26.58. High alarm limit is 350. Low alarm limit is 20, and it is a range of 600. So this is analog input. Now suppose we have a digital input. So if I click on any of of this like no, DCS, then this type of faceplate will open. Here it is written PS RH spray water ISOV fault. So if fault is generated, this will go red, and operator can able to see this alert. Third is digital output. I unfortunately I have not taken the screenshot of a digital output, but if I select this MOV or that motor, that faceplate will pop up, and I can give the command like start, stop. Fourth is control valve. So if I will click on this, the pop-up will open like this. Here you can give the controller output. If I will put 0, then this valve will be closed. If I will put 100, this valve will open. Same way, if I put currently it is showing manual. If I put in auto, then my PID will come into action and will try to maintain set point. So this is, if I set point is given by operator, if it is 440, then accordingly valve will be open and valve will be closed, and entire process will be controlled. So these are some of the other picture also I like to see. This is real plant picture. So this is cylinder, one of the cylinder, pneumatic cylinder. This is control valve. This is again control valve. This is transmitter. Impulse tube are coming from the field. This is SOV. Digital signal will come here and operate this actuator. This is RTD. This is mass flow meter. This is pressure gauge, temperature gauge. This is one of the pump and motor. So all the instrument are installed here, and all the command will come here, and all the inputs from here goes to control room. So here you can see these are the motor. These are the RTD which is installed to measure the bearing temperature. These are the pressure gauge, temperature gauge, these are for vibration monitoring. This is again transmitter, motorized operated valve, transmitter. This is motorized operated valve. This is switch yard. I mean, in our system, we are the power. We generate the power, and all power will go into grid by this switch yard. This is turbine and generator. This is level gauge. This is, you can say, the electrical system. So if you give any command to motor, first the command will come here, and the here breaker will operated and give the command, and if motor is running, then the feedback is given to control system through this board only. So this type of boards are manufactured by the L&T, Schneider, and this is electrical subject, but I am just showing that our command will go into electrical board, and electrical board will generate the command to motor. This is local JB. Cables are connected in local JB and then to instrument. So cable from control room will come in local JB, and from second side it go to instruments. So now I have explained most of the thing, like how the control system is look like, and how it will, how it work. I now only one topic is left, that is how the project will go. So first engineering will be done, then erection means installation of instrument and installation of device will be done, then commissioning means all the cables are connected. After that, loop check means continuity check of that cable will be done, and then all the parameters will be verified, and all the logic will be checked with OEM, operation and control and system engineer. And after that, maintenance phase will come. So these are the 4 steps of any project execution. And which are the different document normally use? P&ID, piping and instrument diagram, IO list, logic diagram, and HMI database. I will show you that to you. So this is one of the P&ID. You can see here everything is written here. So this is, I think it is not visible to you, but it is dash TE. Dash TE means it is a one of the analog parameter. Here the valve is shown. So accordingly this, we design control system, we design HMI, we design the logic. So this is the most important document of any project. After P&ID, we have a instrument list. So from P&ID, we decide how many instrument we require, and these are the list of instrument and type of instrument. So after list prepare, we decide how many analog input, how many analog output, how many digital input, and how many digital output is required for our control system. And accordingly, input and output, we decide how many controllers we require, how many panels we require. These are discussed during engineering phase. And then cable schedule will be prepared. Here you can see this is signal, this is panel number. From here cable will go, this is cable number, and cable will go here, and this is type of cable. So 2 into 2 into 1, so that means 2 pair cable will go into this damper from this panel, and this is length. So this how engineering document will be created, and accordingly this erection and commissioning activities will be carried out, and accordingly this we develop the logic, we develop the HMI, and we do the commissioning. This is all from my side. Now anyone has a doubt, they can ask the question. Ghanshyam?
Yes, Parth. Thank you very much. It was really a nice presentation. I think you have covered each and every aspect of control system as well as industrial automation part. We are having around 19 participants. So all the participants, I just going to unmute, like allowing you to unmute yourself, and you can ask the queries if you are having any queries, question in your mind. Yes, participant, you can able to unmute yourself, and you can raise your queries, question to Manager Parth. We are having Parth sir with us. He is a senior manager at SR company. He has explained many things about control system. Yes, 413 number. You can disable your mic and you can ask the query directly.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, actually, I have a question. The panels of the control system that Mr. Parth sir showed us were, sir, majorly connected via wires. Will it be won't it be difficult if we connect every wire and if there is a possibility that the wires connection is not the correct the connection. So is there any second option another other than connecting wires? And also, sir, in a world which we are moving forward, everything is going to be wireless. So is there any possibility that this major control system can become wireless, or any other option which the wires connection can be made easier?
Yeah, very nice question. The first of all, you rightly pointed out that there is a many chance of error during the cabling. So that's why this project will take time to come, because all the cabling will require to done, and all the cabling and termination will be done by the ITI. I means the unskilled person. So we have to again recheck all the cablings. And what you are talking about, that wireless technology is already available. Immersion is using this technology, but in critical system, this technology is not yet established. Like wireless is only used where the control is not there. Okay, if any, if I have to trip my device on some of the signals, we do not use the wireless. But if I have to monitor only that parameter, we use the wireless. So wireless technology is already available, but wireless technology is not used in the control as of now. In future, if it prove that there is no chance of any signal miss, then wireless technology will be more helpful, and it will more, mainly it is a question of reliability, but it is we are using in some of the parameters which is not in control. I think I have answered all your query, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, any other students, if you have any question queries, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question directly. Parth, I have a query
Yes.
that, nowadays instrumentation control engineering is also there, electronics communication is there, electrical engineering is there. Most of the time students are facing challenges that in which sector they want to go for. And these participants, most of them are interested in this industrial automation. So whatever content you have shown, most of the things are related to control system and industrial automation. So in future, they wish to go in that sector. So what are your suggestion to prepare, like what to prepare and how they can go in this certain specialized domain for future or for a career aspect? Can you highlight certain things regarding this?
Yeah, basically, see, we have as everyone aware that we have a gap between our industry and education system. Okay, that's why I tried to show most of the pictures so everyone can be aware. And in control system, if basically this is instrumentation plus electronics type of job. Okay, if you do the vendor work, I mean ABB, Honeywell, Schneider, then you can be a control system engineer. Or if you do job like me, then I have to be perform a dual role like control and instrumentation engineer plus uh, this C&I engineer. Uh, to make a career in this field, one has to be very fluent in the programming. Okay, so 8051, 8085, 8086, you have to clear all the basic in 8051, 8085, and 8086. So your programming will be very through. And the second thing, you need to learn all the latest instruments, which are the instrument is used, and latest instrument, not only coming in the books only. Other instruments you have to also learn, and you have to go into principle how the instrument will work. Further, there are the PLC classes are also available nowadays, but I don't know how reliable and how they are learning. But if anyone want to wish, then they can learn some PLC classes. So if he or she has a knowledge of particular PLC, then further they can learn the DCS easily and catch up the DCS easily, because DCS classes is nowadays not available, only PLC classes is available. Hope I answered the questions.
Yes, yes, Parth. Thank you very much for your enlightening on the queries and questions. Participant, if you are having any other queries, you can raise your question. You can unmute yourself. Please, we are about to end the session, so kindly disable your mic and ask the queries directly. Meanwhile, Parth, you can disable screen sharing. Yes, participant, do you have any queries, question? I have already sent the attendance and feedback form in the chat section, so kindly fill up that form. And now we are about to ending the session, so I would like to thank Engineer Parth Bhimani. He is a BVMite, passing out at 2007 and is an electronics engineer, and we really thank you, Parth, for sparing your valuable time for our BVM students. I know once a BVMite is always a BVMite.
Always correct. Anything done for the BVM is less, I think.
So we really appreciate your effort to be with us, for giving your expertise in the domain of industrial automation as well as control system. So thank you very much, and also we'll love to contact you in future regarding any of the queries related to this field. And our student will also
Sure.
love to contact
Sure,
you.
sure.
Yeah.
You can share my mail ID with all the participants. If
Yes,
anyone
yes.
has a doubt, then they can personally mail to me, and I can reply to that queries. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Parth sir, and thank you very much all the attendants, all the participants for being with us. We are having with us Mahendra sir from electronics department, and also Swarendu Patra, other than this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for being with us. And we are just ending this session. You kindly fill all the attendance form which is circulated to you, feedback form. Give your feedback, and we'll love to see you in further future webinar when we are organized related to different domain. Thank you
Yes,
once
of
again,
course.
all of you. You can leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghanshyam.
Yeah, thank you, sir.